Welcome back from that break. It is still Global Morning live on your screen. As a matter of fact, we have someone here who is a legal practitioner and also he's a public affairs analyst. And we want to talk about Natasha'S recall. Remember how it first started from the National Assembly. From that sitting position, it escalated to sexual harassment. From there, it went all the way to UN across the shores of the country. A lot of people have reacted to it. The wife of the Senate president has reacted to this sexual harassment allegation. It's still allegation until otherwise proven. We heard that Natasha went to court. We heard that the Senate president's wife also went to court. But something is making a difference right here, and that is the recall by the people of Kogi Central. Now, what is recall? Today we'll get to know what recall is. Today we'll get to know some of the processes that are involved in recall. Who can do a recall? Some person said, well, recall is not something that is possible in Nigeria. Some people don't even know there is anything like recall. Some persons after today might be biting their finger to say, wow, if we had known 2010, we would have done a recall. 2012, years back, we would have done a recall. But then, I think information is so important, because if you're not informed, you are deformed. And joining me today, like I said, is a professional, someone who knows his audience, a legal practitioner and a public affairs analyst. And he's none other person than Barrister Peterson, Ihunweze. It's good to have you in the studio today. I have not seen you all through this year. He's been in court, you know, in and out of court, and it's good to have you join us on the conversation today.
It's a pleasure to come back here again.
I know you must have heard about the Natasha'S saga. Permit me to call it a saga for now.
Sure.
As a matter of fact, what's your picture of the whole situation before we even get into the discussion today? Because as a matter of fact, we're looking at the recall that came from the Kogi Central people, and why INEC rejected the recall, even though right now it's like the amendment has been done and they are drawing Natasha'S attention to the recall right now as we speak. So on the whole, what do you think about the Natasha'S saga?
Well, my take on that is Nigerian factor. You know that in this country, everything is possible. And once you are not in line or aligning with the powers that be, there are always issues. You know, you consider, say, okay, what was the Natasha'S offense? What happened? What transpired? But just like the proverbial saying that if you cannot beat them, you join them. I'm just having a thinking and a view that he's just working, or he's just, pit against the powers that be. And this is the processes that follows up. We've seen how she was suspended from the Senate, and we have also seen the drama that happened during the course of her recall. Even when she came back and went to her constituency, she was well welcomed by the constituent. Then proceeding to the submission of the letter of her recall, INEC, coming up again to say that it does not comply with the procedures. Now, INEC coming up again to say that the procedure has been complied, that they will take further action. So, it's a Nigerian factor. But I strongly believe that what are the procedures? Has she done something that warrant her recall? The answer is in the negative, because if you come to the Senate, there are so many senators that she has performed far above them. Of course, we know how she had the antecedent of her coming to the National Assembly, that she came in through the court. She wasn't sworn in when others were sworn in. So, and in fact, one of the Senator was saying that Natasha was saying that these women are not giving voice, that she has already moved 6 bills. So you now ask other senators, have they been able to do that? They have been there since the inception of this National Assembly. So I want to strongly believe, even her reaching to the constituents, of course, before now we see how she reached to the constituent and ensure that the constituent got a dividend of democracy. So I strongly believe that Natasha is not the problem of Nigeria, and Natasha is not the problem of Senate. And Natasha is not the problem of Kogi State, but it's just an unfortunate situation.
All right, it's just an unfortunate situation. Natasha is not the problem of Nigeria. That's that one for me. Natasha is not the problem of Nigeria. She's not the problem of Kogi State. More so that she came in through the court, meaning she got there legally. All right. Now, let's look at the recall. You know, we've been saying recall. Some persons are just saying, which one is recall again? So can you open our eyes to what a recall is?
Okay, a recall is a process whereby a member of the legislature is, let me use the word, brought back or removed from her seat or her position of office. Just like in executive, we have impeachment, where you impeach the president, when you impeach the governor, when you impeach the vice president, when you impeach the deputy governor. But for you to remove a member of course, we know that their leaders can also be, impeached and all that. But for you to, recall is one of the ways where a member of the legislature will lose his seat and cease to become a member of that house. So, of course, there are laid down procedures that will follow through that. That will be done by the constituent, writing a petition, signing, acknowledging, writing their details, writing where they come from. More than 50% of the registered voter in that particular senatorial district, if it's a member of the Senate, if it's a member of House of Reps, within that federal constituency, then if it is State House of Assembly, within the constituency, signing a petition that they wish that the member representing them should be recalled back from the legislative house. So that's the process. That's what the recall is.
And that's what the Kogi Central people are doing right now. Then what do INEC need to do if the recall? Because from what we heard, was it up to 48 hours? They said there were some inconsistency in the write-off, in the address. Yes. Okay. Now, I don't know.
Signature.
And the signature.
INEC has said that they have written them back, explaining and giving details of those things that were not there ab initio. So that they have give them the address, their phone number, and their signature, that it has complied with the requirement of the law. That's INEC position as at yesterday.
All right, that's INEC's position.
The director of voters register.
But constitutionally, as a lawyer, as a legal practitioner, constitutionally, do you see what Natasha is doing as being wrong? Because the issue, the problem started from a sitting position before it escalated to sexual scandal, sexual harassment. What she's doing, then the case went to court, then she went as far as crossing the border, okay, to the UN and all of that. What do you think of her moves?
Well, my take over that is that she overbloated the situation, okay, because we have procedures. Also, we have territorial integrity. We also have legislative immunity and integrity. So she overbloated the situation. Even if there are laid down procedures, that's the problem that he has with the Senate. We can't be doing something in the Senate. There is a laid down procedure. You jump the Senate procedure and went to court. From there, you are granting public interview. You went to media house, castigated the number 3 citizen. So they see it as an affront, because there is no institution that will not protect its own. So the legislature Senate cannot just allow her to continue to disparage the Senate, because they say an injury to one is an injury to all. So what the Senate did was to take step, to stop her from such moves that she's doing. So for me, her position wasn't the procedure. Most times you may have a good case, but the procedure that you take may not be right. So she has a good case. Of course, it's an allegation. Any person can make any allegation. I'm not saying whether it's right or wrong, but the procedure that she followed was outrightly wrong. I don't subscribe to that. Oh,
okay. You don't subscribe to that. Let's look at the Senate now. A former senator, Senate President even Saraki, had made a statement in the past that this is not all about the institution, not all about the individuals, not all about the Senate President, not all about Natasha'S, but it is about the institution. And from your last statement, you are saying something in that direction too. Now, as it is, don't you think it is time for the Senate President, the federal government to intervene and calm down the situation, because this is not putting Nigeria on a good light at all on the global map, on the world as a whole?
Well, remember that we have separation of powers. In as much as there is checks and balances, there is intertwining of powers and duties. The executive, the legislature, and the judiciary, they are independent. The judiciary and the legislature is independent, and the legislature has also taken steps to solve their problem. By what did they do? They take steps to suspend the senator, okay, and not just suspending. In fact, I watched the proceedings. Not even one single voice was in her favor, which means that the legislature was all in agreement of her behavior and of her modus operandi, or her way of attending to the issue, or challenging or venting her right. So the legislature has done enough. There is something that the executive will do now. It will, of course, disparage that concept of independence of judicial. And I strongly believe that it is only when the legislature that cannot handle it that they may call for further help. So what I'm saying is that we have laid down procedures. What happened is not beyond the legislature. There are procedures. There is public hearing. There is investigation panel. So let those procedures be exhausted. Then the next step will be taken. That's my take on that.
All right, let's get back to Kogi Central right now. Do you think there are some persons pushing for this? Because Natasha, so far, like you said, has not done badly.
Very well.
All right,
very
in her constituency.
Yes.
We saw videos making rounds, some videos when she was giving out things to her constituency. This very Senate President, empowerment, when she was empowering her constituency, this very Senate President was even in attendance for some of these occasions. And even during this Ramadan, she has also done something, giving out grains to the people. This recall coming from the constituency, do you see some form of undertone? Some persons, some things are trying to play out. Remember, first of all, she wasn't the one that some people gave this seat, but she got it by the power of the law. The judiciary came in and she won it from the court. Don't you think that those powers are still fighting, or what do you think is this scenario all about, the recall of a thing?
Just like I said before now, that if you want to kill your dog, you target a name, right? Just like what we said, the court declared that she was the rightful winner of the election, which means ab initio she won the election, but some powers that be did not allow her to proceed. And what I understand is that the whoever that she's fighting against, or whoever that is against her interest, just activated those elements, those factors that are working against her in her constituency. Okay, and that was how they were able to get what they want. Although I said they've gotten more than 50% of registered voters, so I don't know whether right or wrong. I wasn't there to, but whatever it is, I strongly believe that it's not easy to recall a legislator, a member of the legislature, because since 1999 we have never had such experience. But let's see how it goes. There is always the first. But I wish her well, and I pray that she will come out of it.
All right, let's look at the activity of the National Assembly as a whole. What's your assessment of the activities at the National Assembly? Just a few days ago, we saw the occultation between a senator and, of course, Ihunweze, the former minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And some persons are of the opinion that no matter what, a senator is a senator and shouldn't go that far, whether offended or not. But generally, what's your assessment of the National Assembly? We've had not just this allegation, we've had people who spoke out in the past that were being suspended. We've had a lot of things about the National Assembly. You, as an individual and as a legal practitioner, what's your assessment of the National Assembly? Not just this National Assembly, but National Assembly in Nigeria as a whole.
Okay, well, National Assembly, they are there, and I want to, if we are doing comparative analysis between this 9th Assembly, right?
Yes, and the 10th and the 8th.
This one is 9th, right?
This one,
okay, the 10th. Right?
Yes.
Okay. You know, remember that what the former Senate President said? He said the immediate past. He said that Buhari should, anything that Buhari brings, that they will approve it. So, and also one of them said that he helped some of them to win elections. So that the Senate is another case study. Okay, then this one now, and this is what happened when you have a president that goes out of his way to ensure that his man wins as the Senate president. You understand? And even this state of emergency that was declared in Rivers State, we saw what happened. When there are such constitutional issues, you don't do voice vote. But because these people are hypnotized, they are engrossed with the executive. They are just, I don't want to say that they are rubber stamp, but that's what it looks like. So you don't expect checks and balance. You don't expect much independence from them. Okay? Because Arthur Zeribe once said, he said, if you want to have one dormant Senate president, that the Senate in its entirety will be dormant. But when you have one active Senate president, that the Senate in its entirety will be active. We record the days of Saraki when Buhari will bring President Buhari, former President Buhari will bring loan application for approval. He will reject it. But I don't, since after his days, I haven't seen, this is where checks and balances are working. They will say there's no working out plan of repayment and we are in debt. Even the money I want to borrow, there's no any plan of investment, real investment on this money. So, but after the days of Saraki, you know, I don't, well, I scored them below 50%. But let's see what they are doing in the constitutional amendment anyway. Let's see.
You said something. You said something. What are the things that the Senate will do that will make people think they are rubber stamped? You just mentioned one now, because at the press briefing, you know, there is a coalition coming up. Atiku, El-Rufai, and a host of others are trying to form a coalition. And I was in that press conference, and El-Rufai said something. He said, regarding the state of emergency, the only thing the Senate will do to disabuse the heart of the people that they are not rubber stamp is to go against the state of emergency declared in Rivers State. You know, what are the things that make people think, okay, a National Assembly, especially the Senate President, is a rubber stamp Senate President? Because a lot of people are saying it's everywhere. People are saying it, and it's not proven.
Okay. Well, the Senate, we have never heard of any investigation going on, because one of the functions of the legislature is to check the activities of the executive. Then, and one of the functions of criminal justice is to deter people from committing crime. Since the session of this Senate, we have never heard that the Senate has investigated this director of this, or this minister, or this, or on earth. Even when one was even on earth, the woman from Cross River State, nothing was done. We have never seen this Senate being hard on the executive to sit up, because if you don't disturb people, people don't do their work. You need to sit up and check the executive. They are excessive. They are. Does it mean that there is no corruption? Does it mean that the budget is implemented as budgeted? Does it mean that there is no budget padding and all that? Let the National Assembly come up with programs that will make the executive sit up. That is where checks and balance will be in operation. And we have never seen that. And all the executive bill that sent to the National Assembly is just garbage in, garbage out. They will just approve and approve and approve without even, you know, taking a look at it from another perspective. So what we are saying is that to whom much is given, much is expected. We are expecting the Senate in its entirety, or the National Assembly comprising the Senate and the House of Representatives. Let them do well to do what is expected from them. Let there be more checks on the executive activities so that people will stand up and do their work.
Were you comfortable with the uproar between Nwebonyi and Ezekwesili?
It's uncalled for. It's uncalled for. There should be a maturity. There should be an approach. There's a level that we reach in life. Nwebonyi says he told her to shut. In fact, I watched a clip of the person sitting beside Nwebonyi before Obiokwe. He said there was a comment by the chairman of the Senate committee, and Nwebonyi responded to it, and Obiokwe says shut up. So it's not done. She made a mistake, and I expected her to apologize, because to err is human, and to, if you can own up to your mistake, no one that is above mistake. So, but I pray that such will not happen again. There are people that we're looking up to. So doing such a thing is not a national television. It doesn't go down well.
All right, we're still talking about building the image of the country, and Natasha, recall matters are rising and developing stories coming from that axis. Going back to Kogi State now, the Kogi Central have written to the INEC, that's Independent and National Electoral Commission, that Natasha should be withdrawn, should be removed from the Senate, that they made a mistake in the first instance sending her there, whereas it was the court that actually cleared her to become the Senate, to become a senator, even though she was really voted for. It was on that premises that she became the senator. Now the question is this: if she's been recalled, even though we know it has not happened since 1999, and peradventure it happens now, what will happen to the people of Kogi North Central? Because as it is right now, for these 6 months, they don't have anyone representing them, even though she is still meeting up with some of her constituent projects that she is already embarking on. What will happen to the people of Kogi Central now that she's not there, and if she's been removed?
Okay, well, the court has held severally that the leadership of the House does not have power to suspend the legislature, because there are procedures wherein a member of the legislature loses his or her seat, or loses his or her seat. So we know that the suspension of Natasha is very wrong, because court has held severally. And secondly, is not just Natasha, is shutting down Kogi Central from being heard in the Senate. Imagine there is a natural disaster there. Who will tell them? Who will inform the Senate about that? If there is any issue that comes up within that senatorial zone, nobody will present it, because their own is not there. So what happens? What if she's recalled? If she's recalled, a notice will be given to the Senate President, which will be announced declaring her seat vacant, and INEC, of course, will conduct election within 3 months to fill the vacancy, because the law abhors vacuum. So if it's not that if she recalled, the Kogi Central will not have a representative in the Senate. So if she's recalled, INEC will conduct election for another person to emerge to replace her position.
All right, INEC will conduct another election to make sure they get another person representing her. But as the case is right now, the case is in court. All right, a case which is in court, and the case has not been decided, and there is a recall going on. Is it proper?
Well, it's to know what the case is for, to know the subject matter of the case, because I'm aware of one of defamation. So, and also I'm aware of one that she says she sued the Senate, that the Senate said we are not aware. And I know that suing the Senate was what got the senators infuriated. There won't be an issue in the Senate. You have not exhausted the domestic remedies. You go to court, going to another arm, bringing the Senate to the ridicule, or bringing it to the public glare. So I don't know what the case is for. I'm not a party to the case, but whatever it is, the court cannot stop the Senate from performing its function. It's very clear. And I'm sure the court will not also stop the people of Kogi Central if it is what they desire to do from recalling their senator. But I strongly believe that at least at this point, she should understand the language because after the suspension, the wife of the president, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, approved that, said that she did well. You know, lend credit to the activities of the Senate. So at least our mother, the wife of the president, she has been in the Senate a couple of times, and she has experience. And if she is not a thing that is in line, she wouldn't have. You know, if she's been persecuted, she would have spoken in her favor. And even the senator representing us here, Irite, the one of FCT, she spoke against her too. So I strongly believe that this is a time that she threw in the towel, amend her face, and ensure that she reconcile with whatever differences that may be, you know, that may be existing, so that she can go back to the Senate and continue performing her duties as a senator of Federal Republic of Nigeria.
All right, that's for Natasha. What about the Senate President? The Senate President have not really spoken, but then I think his spokesperson spoke, the wife spoke, and a few persons have been speaking. Now, what do you think the Senate President should do? Because as it is right now, we know it is all about sexual harassment, and it has to do with the image of the Senate President and this National Assembly itself. But right now, what will be your final word to the Senate President before we call the program a wrap?
Well, the Senate President is the father of the Senate. It's always good to sue for peace. If there is an opportunity to reconcile with, after all, the Senator Natasha is her friend. If there is a way, Eken Badiwe once said that in the Senate they disagree to agree. So if there is an opportunity to mend fence, it's better that we toe a line of peace than to continue this public display of shame. This one will say this one will say that. At the level of Senator Natasha'S level, you know, making an allegation of sexual harassment is strange to somebody like me, because she has, there's what they call alibi. When you are being arrested, you say, I'm not in the scene of the crime. What do? You go and one of the defenses is that you report, you say it immediately that you were arrested. Not when you are arrested, the next day you come and say, hey, I was not there. So immediately you are arrested, you report that issue that, oh, I was not there when the crime took place. Now you say you were sexually harassed. When you were sexually harassed, did you make any complaint? No. Did you have any this thing? The information is that she didn't even tell her husband. So why are you coming now to say that you were sexually harassed? So I'm thinking that it may be aware of, you know, women are aware of reaction to issues. To say, okay, no problem, I can bring up this issue and say you were sexually harassed. If you condone it, so why bringing it now? If you don't want to condone it, or you feel that you cannot condone it, you should have raised alarm at the nick of time, not afterthought. Because people are seeing it now as an afterthought. Because the issue of sexual harassment came after the debacle of seat arrangement being here or not there. That was what came up. So I strongly believe that in the Nigeria and at that level, that we should know better and do better when such opportunity happens or occurs in the near future.
Thank you very much, Barrister, for adding your voice to the conversation today. It's good to have you once again in the studio.
Thank you, it's a pleasure.
All right, this is going to be the size of the conversation this morning. At least everyone have heard. And Natasha'S recall, the letter has been accepted by the INEC, Independent National Electoral Commission, and of course, Natasha'S attention has been drawn to that. But then, the Senate President is going to get the letter if anything happened. But remember that this has not happened since democracy. This has not happened since 1999. Will it happen this time? Or everyone will sue for peace, which is very important for the integrity of the nation and for the peace of everyone involved in this saga. Nigeria is ours. Nigeria is our own country. We are all Nigerians. Many thanks for joining us on Global Morning today, and we'll take a bow from now. And of course, Global Morning will come on your way again tomorrow, same time, same station. But don't forget that after now, coming up next is Talk Sport at the top of the hour, 10 o'clock. My name is Ramsey Enoch. Bye-bye for now.